Any man died of a big disease with a little name. By chance his girlfriend came across a needle and soon she did the same. Time. Times.
What would you do if someone you knew and loved got AIDS? How would you treat them? What would you say?
What is AIDS anyway? How do you get it? What does it do? Can anyone get AIDS? Is anyone immune? Most importantly, how can you protect yourself?
I'm Pip Newson.
And I'm Jeff Bennett.
And we're going to talk to you about a very serious subject. So listen up. It could save your life.
Time. Times.
AIDS is a disease that breaks down part of the body's immune system, leaving a person defenseless against a variety of unusual and life-threatening illnesses. Each of the letters in AIDS stands for a word: acquired. This means the disease is passed from one person to another. It is not hereditary in origin. Immune, the body's defense system which normally provides protection from disease. Deficiency, this means the defense system is not working. Syndrome, a group of symptoms which, when they occur together, mean a person has a particular disease or condition. The body's immune system normally provides us with the weapons we need to win constant battles with invading viruses and bacteria. This defense is powerful, but not perfect. Think of it like these fighters. Most of the attacks are caught and beaten off with ease. We don't even know that it's happened. But occasionally, a bug will get to us. A cold or flu will make it past the first wave of defense, called antibodies. This is when we feel sick, although much of what makes us feel bad, fever, chills, headaches and such, comes from the actions of our own body as it fights off the invading bug. When the antibodies have failed to keep the bug out, a second wave of defense is called up. These killer cells hunt down infected cells and destroy them. But the AIDS virus works differently than other viruses. It attacks the very cells that normally protect us. It gets inside these cells and takes over the controls. It turns our own white blood cells into mini factories for making more viruses. Each time a cell is taken over, it fills up with thousands of new AIDS viruses, dies and releases the new viruses, which attack more white blood cells. After this has happened enough times, our defense system is weakened, and certain infections and conditions that we normally fight off with no problem take advantage. These cause the symptoms of AIDS, such as Kaposi's sarcoma, a tumor that grows all over the body, and pneumocystis carinii pneumonia, a lung disease caused by a parasite. Whatever condition develops because of AIDS, the outcome is always the same. The person dies. There are no cures for AIDS, so learning about the disease and how to avoid it are our only weapons. AIDS is spread in the following ways.
Sexual intercourse. This is difficult or embarrassing for some people to talk about, but it's too important to ignore. When we say sexual intercourse, we mean vaginal or anal sex between two people. Sexual intercourse is the primary way that AIDS is passed from person to person. The AIDS virus is carried in the blood, semen, and vaginal secretions of an infected person. When that person has sex with a non-infected person, they give them the virus. This can happen from a man to a woman or from a woman to a man. It also happens between men who have sex together. If you have any problems understanding how this happens, or you want to know more, just ask your parents, your teacher, or physician, or any other knowledgeable adult that you can relate to. Exchange of blood. This mainly means sharing needles for drug abuse. Many of the AIDS cases in the United States have been caused by drug abusers sharing their works with each other. Since the AIDS virus lives and reproduces in the bloodstream, shooting up easily passes it from abuser to abuser. IV drug use also spreads other diseases and can cause instant death from overdose. Drug abuse of any kind lowers your immune system, and an impaired immune system makes you more vulnerable to the AIDS virus and other diseases. It's one more reason to just say no. Nowadays, getting blood transfusions for medical reasons is very safe. Since the spring of 1985, our nation's blood supply has been carefully screened to keep out AIDS-infected blood. Some people have been afraid to donate blood because they think they can get AIDS in this way. There is no reason to be afraid to donate blood. There is no way to contract AIDS or any other infections from the brand new, never-before-used equipment at a blood bank. Another way AIDS is spread is from pregnant mothers to their infants. Some researchers also think the virus can be passed by breastfeeding.
That's it. Those are the only known ways of getting AIDS. Despite rumors you may have heard or even read about, you cannot get AIDS from
Well, I guess you get the picture. Only uninformed people think you can get AIDS from casual contact.
The bad thing about such rumors is that they take away from the important issues. What you really need to know is how to avoid getting AIDS. Here's how to protect yourself.
Say no.
Don't you like me?
It's okay to say no. No to drugs and no to casual sex. Nobody ever died from waiting to have sex with the person they loved and wanted to spend a lifetime with. A lot of people have died from not waiting.
Thanks.
One-to-one. Working out a special relationship with one person and then being faithful to each other has many advantages. Not getting AIDS is just one of them.
Protective measures. Now, this is a tough area. A lot of publicity has been given to condoms and how they can protect you against AIDS. They can help, but they are by no means foolproof. It's important to remember that most failures with condoms are due to incorrect use. Condoms have to be worn throughout the entire act of sex or they're useless. AIDS proves the wisdom in abstaining from sex until marriage. However, people who take the risk of sex outside of marriage must use condoms. Even then, there is still a chance of infection.
Okay, let's go over that again. The best way to protect yourself against AIDS and a lot of other problems is to say no. No to drugs, especially IV drugs, and no to casual sex. People who have good one-to-one relationships with someone they love should stay faithful. Those people who do have sex before they are married should always use the protective measures we've just covered. Anything less than that is taking a terrible chance with death. Here's why this is so important.
AIDS is a worldwide epidemic. There have been more than 40,000 cases and almost 25,000 deaths in the United States alone. Every 3 weeks, another 1,000 people in the United States contract the disease. More than 100 countries around the world have reported cases of AIDS. In Africa, where the cases are almost evenly distributed between males and females, the World Health Organization estimates that 50 million men, women, and children will die from AIDS-related causes by the year 2000. These are terrible figures, and if you're alarmed, you should be. However, This does not mean that you are in danger. If you don't do the things that spread AIDS, you won't get the disease. Here's why AIDS is spreading worldwide. You can't tell when someone has the AIDS virus. They don't get sick right away. In fact, they can't tell anything is wrong, and neither can anyone else unless they take a special blood test. Sometimes the virus is in somebody for up to 10 years before that person gets sick. All that time, every time they have sex with someone new, or every time they share a needle, they may be passing the virus to someone else. Each of those newly infected people can then pass the virus to more people, and those people to even more. Because it can take so long for the symptoms to show up, many, many people can get the virus in a community before anyone knows it. When it comes to AIDS, you have to consider that having sex with someone is having sex with everyone they have had sex with, and so on. Watch this picture to get an idea of how fast the virus can spread. John gets the AIDS virus from abusing drugs at a party. He gives the virus to his girlfriend Susan when they have sex. After they break up, she gives it to Tony. John gives it to his new girlfriend and to 2 more people he shares needles with. Over the next 5 years, each of these people break up, graduate from school, move to new towns, and continue to act in ways which spread the deadly virus they don't even know they carry. Now, all these facts about AIDS are scary. It might be tough for some of you to deal with such difficult topics. That's not unusual. We talked with a psychiatrist who works with young people.
Well, yeah, I think that it is possible for some adolescents to perhaps overreact to this fear about AIDS and decide that sex is not for them and they can become withdrawn and isolated. And that's certainly not what we're looking for young people to do. Sexuality is a normal part of our lives, and it can be a wholesome, enjoyable, healthy activity. One can engage in sexuality in many ways, by being affectionate, holding hands, kissing, by hugging each other. There are many, many satisfying ways of engaging in normal sexuality without becoming, say, fully sexually active very early on.
AIDS is easy to prevent, but you've got to remember how to do it. The first method, and the very best method, is abstinence. If you're not having sex with anybody, you're not going to get a sexually transmitted disease. Second method, monogamy. Stay with one partner. We know that if a couple is disease-free and disease is not introduced from the outside, then that couple will remain disease-free. Now, the third way, and it's well below those first 2, is protect yourself, protect others.
One thing to remember is that your doctor is always a good source of information and help with any health questions. If you don't have a doctor, you can talk with your parents, trusted teacher, or a school nurse. If you still need answers to your questions, a call to your local medical society will get you a list of resources that are available to everyone. There are also AIDS hotlines where you live, or a national hotline that is open 24 hours a day.
So remember. AIDS is a dangerous and deadly disease.
So be smart.
Protect